Join me as I dive deep into the mystery of Lori Vallow's missing children and try to piece together what really happened. Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell were involved in a series of killings, including the deaths of Lori's 2 children. They were part of a doomsday cult. Lori Vallow was convicted in 2023 for the murders and received multiple life sentences. Every year, over 600,000 people go missing in the United States. Of those, thousands are children. But few cases have ever gripped the nation like the disappearance of Tylee Ryan and Joshua J.J. Vallow. How can 2 kids simply vanish without a trace, while their mother remains eerily calm and detached? To understand what happened to Lori Vallow's children, we need to look beyond the crime scene and deep into the twisted psychology of a woman who believed she was chosen by God to usher in the end times. A woman who convinced herself and others that some people, even her own children, were zombies possessed by dark spirits. This story is more than a crime. It's a descent into delusion, fanaticism, and chilling betrayal. Lori Vallow was once a beauty pageant contestant and suburban mom with a glowing smile. But beneath that smile was something darker, a growing obsession with doomsday prophecies and spiritual warfare. Everything changed when she met Chad Daybell, a fringe author who claimed to receive visions from beyond the veil. Together, they built a world where their children didn't fit. And in that world, death became justified, necessary even. In September 2019, 7-year-old J.J. Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan disappeared from Rexburg, Idaho. Lori offered no explanation. In fact, she lied. She told people J.J. was with family in Arizona. Tylee, she claimed, was in college. When investigators demanded proof, Lori went silent. Then she disappeared too, vanishing to Hawaii with Chad Daybell, married just weeks after Chad's previous wife mysteriously died. The timeline is critical. Tylee was last seen alive during a family outing to Yellowstone National Park on September 8, 2019. Just over 2 weeks later, J.J. vanished. Lori didn't report them missing. Neither did Chad. In fact, the couple was laughing and dancing on a beach when the nation began asking, "Where are the children?" By December 2019, the investigation was intensifying. Police raided Lori's storage unit and found children's toys, bikes, and photos, items that indicated the children had not moved away, but had simply vanished. The community grew suspicious. Family members, like Lori's own brother Adam and her surviving son Colby, pleaded with her to reveal the truth. Her response was cold, dismissive, detached. That chilling lack of empathy raised more red flags. Behind the scenes, law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, began connecting dots across state lines, from Arizona to Idaho to Hawaii. They found a pattern of sudden deaths surrounding Lori and Chad. First, Charles Vallow, Lori's husband, was shot and killed by her brother Alex Cox, in what was called self-defense. Then Tammy Daybell, Chad's wife, died in her sleep, initially believed to be from natural causes. But suspicion grew. Autopsy results later revealed she died of asphyxiation. In early 2020, under increasing public pressure, law enforcement ordered Lori to produce the children. She refused. A court gave her 5 days. She didn't comply. On February 20, 2020, Lori Vallow was arrested in Hawaii and extradited to Idaho. But still, no sign of Tylee or JJ. Months passed. Then came June 9, 2020. A search warrant was executed at Chad Daybell's property in Rexburg. What investigators found sent shockwaves through the nation. 2 sets of human remains buried in shallow graves. JJ was wrapped in plastic, duct tape binding his small body. Tylee had been dismembered and burned, her remains reduced to charred bone fragments. The brutality was overwhelming. In court documents, investigators described how Chad Daybell appeared to watch from a distance as police dug up his backyard. He was arrested that day. Lori, already behind bars, now faced new charges: conspiracy to commit murder, destruction of evidence, and ultimately, first-degree murder. What made a mother do this? The answer may lie in her warped belief system. Lori and Chad were obsessed with apocalyptic teachings. Chad claimed he could classify people as light or dark. Those deemed dark were supposedly possessed and could not be saved. Lori believed her children had become zombies, hollow shells inhabited by evil spirits. In her mind, killing them wasn't murder. It was salvation. In jailhouse phone calls released during court proceedings, Lori is heard laughing with Chad. Even as the world searched for her missing children, she showed no remorse. Prosecutors painted a chilling portrait, a woman who valued prophecy over parenthood. A mother who saw her own kids as obstacles in her divine mission. During her 2023 trial, Lori appeared calm, often smiling, even when graphic details of her children's deaths were presented in court. Multiple mental health experts were brought in. Some argued she was delusional, incapable of distinguishing reality. Others said she was manipulative, fully aware, and coldly calculating. The jury listened as prosecutors presented cell phone data showing Alex Cox, Lori's brother, on the property at the exact times investigators believe the bodies were buried. He later died from what was ruled a pulmonary embolism, but his role was central. One of the most powerful moments came when Colby Ryan, Lori's surviving son, took the stand. His voice broke as he described trying to reach his siblings, calling, texting, begging for answers. He recalled the eerie silence from Lori and the heartbreak of realizing his mother might be involved. They were just kids, he said, wiping away tears. There were other voices too, Tammy Daybell's family, who testified about her final days and the suspicion they felt. Friends of Lori, like Melanie Gibb, who once believed in her spiritual teachings, shared how Lori claimed her children were safe and happy. That she didn't need to worry because they were in a better place. These statements weren't just disturbing, they were damning. Throughout the trial, prosecutors emphasized the disturbing pattern. Every person who stood in the way of Lori and Chad's life together ended up dead. Lori's husband, Chad's wife, her children. It wasn't just about religion. It was about control, obsession, and the ego of two people who believed they were chosen to lead the world into a new era. On May 12, 2023, after weeks of testimony and mounting evidence, Lori Vallow was found guilty on all counts. The judge sentenced her to multiple life sentences without the possibility of parole. Chad Daybell's trial is pending, and many believe it will expose even more about the twisted ideology that fueled this tragedy. But justice doesn't erase the trauma. The community in Rexburg still mourns. Family members still grieve. And the nation still asks, how could this happen? Psychologically, Lori Vallow fits the profile of a cult-influenced offender, someone who gradually loses touch with moral boundaries under the influence of a charismatic figure. But she was not powerless. Many experts argue she was a co-leader, not a victim. Her descent into fanaticism was paired with self-interest, the desire for a new life, freedom from responsibility, and unconditional devotion from a man who shared her distorted worldview. Experts in cult psychology point out that Lori's case mirrors patterns seen in other deadly cults, where love, fear, and prophecy are weaponized. In such environments, children are often the first to suffer, seen as distractions, tied to the old world. Lori Vallow didn't just fail as a mother. She abandoned the very concept of motherhood. This case also exposes failures in the system. Warning signs were ignored. Charles Vallow had tried to get Lori evaluated before his death, warning that she was unstable and dangerous. He filed court documents, made police reports. But no one acted in time. The system failed to protect JJ and Tylee. Even after the bodies were found, the case took months to move forward. Delays, red tape, and jurisdictional issues complicated the pursuit of justice. It was only because of persistent investigators, brave witnesses, and national media coverage that the truth finally came out. And yet, for all we know, there are still unanswered questions. Was Alex Cox the sole accomplice? Were others aware? What role did religious forums and online prepper communities play in encouraging Lori and Chad's beliefs? These questions may take years to answer, if they ever are. But one thing is clear. JJ and Tylee were loved. Their lives mattered, and their story must be told, not just as a cautionary tale, but as a reminder of what happens when delusion meets silence. Thank you for joining me on this chilling journey into the twisted case of Lori Vallow and the disappearance of her children. If this story moved you, shocked you, or left you with questions, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters. And if you want more true crime stories, psychological deep dives, and criminal investigations, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to CrimeBot Chronicles, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a case. Share this video to keep JJ and Tylee's memory alive, and to ensure we continue holding people accountable for their darkest crimes. Stay safe, stay curious, and until next time, this is CrimeBot Chronicles, signing off.